outside, it might be sunny Southern California, but I bet the sun cannot shine as bright as the lights on the stage here in the OGN Super Arena that these players are going to stand in front of as they play Clash Royale at the highest level. Hello and welcome to CRL West. It is match day 3. I'm Rich Slayton. Joining me, as always, is my friend Andrew Guy, and we've been through craziness, ups and downs, sweeps, whole extra 4-game sets. It's been absolutely wild, and of course, that's had a massive effect on our league, and a big part of that is the new league format.
Yes, the new league format is absolutely incredible. We're still starting off with our 2v2 set. As we know, Clash Royale is a team game. That is why there are franchises and sports and teams and all that. Next up, we have King of the Hill. Best 3 players from each team come out, 1 life each. And lastly, the tie-breaking set, 1v1, the titans of the team. The best 1v1 players are there to take it home for their squad.
And those of you just joining us for the first time today, you can catch Clash Royale League West 3 days a week, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. all the way over on the Eastern Coast. Saturday and Sunday, 10 in the West, 1 in the East. So come join us 3 days a week. That is plenty of Clash Royale, and we've played a lot so far. Of course, a lot left to be played, and our standings are taking their first form here with some teams at the bottom, some teams at the top.
Yeah, and some surprises in our standings, Rich. Let's take a peek. So at the very top, we have Immortals, where they ended last season. They had a 5-game sweep. That is why they're at the very top. Other teams with wins like Fnatic and Dignitas, but they were not clean sweeps. Today, Cream Esports and Tribe Gaming, they have now moved their way up. Tribe is now 1-1. On the back here, we have Pain Gaming, also 1-1, that have moved their way up. Energy, SK, and Team Liquid have yet to play, but there are teams at the very, very bottom, starting with Team Queso, Misfits, and Complexity. Queso and Complexity, big surprises being in 12th and 10th place, Rich.
Well, everyone's trying to make predictions on the season. You saw every single person on Twitter putting out their power rankings. Well, here's the reality. This is just all the best players in Clash Royale in the world playing for 12 different teams, and one of those teams we have yet to see making their debut later today. Let's take a look at today's matches, and really a lot of excitement here.
Yeah. So looking at our matches today, we have Fnatic, who has got a triumph over Queso. They are now 1-0. Today they will be going up against our friends Cream, also 1-0. After that, we have Team Liquid going against Dignitas. Dignitas with a very surprising win, and now Team Liquid looking to show that their new roster, their new squad is here to go the distance.
Liquid not making the playoffs last season, although with the addition of Canario, you have to imagine that's going to be a tough thing to happen to keep them out of those top 6 this time around. But of course, today, first up, we have a very big matchup, Cream, which is an unbelievably stacked roster of Latin superstars up against Fnatic, which, you know, with Javi 14, Faye, the Sparky Master, Asuchini, and we have yet to see Mikel 04. A lot of fantastic players, and I expect firepower today between these two squads.
Oh, yeah, they both have something big to prove. You know they want to go to the very first place here at CRL West. On the left, we've got Cream. On the right, we have Fnatic, and you see the determination in these guys' eyes. Today, coming out for Cream. Rich, who we got?
Well, the full lineup, Lindsay, Diego E, Flash, Jose Brian, Codigo, and Luke Dubs. Not a full squad here yet, but we've already seen they can play so well with the way Lindsay played in their last match.
Yeah, speaking of playing so very well, on the opposite side, we have Fnatic in the red corner. Javi 14, Mikel 04, Asuchini, and Faye. Faye and Javi had an amazing showing in King of the Hill, taking that first victory, and now 1-0. Who's gonna walk away on top? Who's gonna be falling in the standings, Rich?
Let's go ahead and kick off match day 3. It's Cream Esports against Fnatic. Here we are heading into the first game of 2v2, and take a look at this. Flash and Diego E out for Cream, Faye and Javi for Fnatic, which means, again, neither one of those two, in this case, available if they go to a final 1v1 set.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Rich. I mean, I'm assuming that they plan on taking the 2v2 set and ending it and sending it home in King of the Hill. However, that leaves only Asuchini and Mikhail04 to play in that 1v1 tie-breaking set if things don't go their way in either one of these first sets.
And as we've seen, anything is possible here in CRL West. And opening Dark Princes for both teams.
And a Skeleton Barrel comes down. We've seen the use of the Skeleton Barrel and how hard it can be with other bait cards, making your opponent pick and choose how to use their spells.
You know, was it Fnatic who ran the Skeleton Barrel Graveyard Freeze deck the other day?
I believe it was, Rich. I believe it was.
So could they be doing the same thing one more time here?
I mean, it worked really, really well. I mean, Queso had a very, very hard time keeping up with them.
And there's that freeze.
And there's the freeze.
Defensive this time, but now, as we talked about last time, it's that complication where when you're, assuming they have the graveyard in here,
right.
It's do you put your spell on the Skeleton Barrel? Do you wait for the first part of the graveyard, or do you have to wait again for the freeze? It's like a three-step process,
yes.
And that push comes in.
Yes is the answer, Rich. You need to have responses to all three is the answer. That is what happened with Queso. They fell. They did not have spells in cycle. They kept having to guess and pick and choose very, very difficult situations, and that is the idea behind this Fnatic deck.
Of course, here it's Cream out to the early lead, running double Ram Rider, Miner, and MK. So a lot of both offensive and defensive utility here.
And they have a lot of cards with a lot of responses to bait. You got the E-Wiz you can drop on top of that Skelly Barrel. You've got Log, you've got the Dark Prince, and the Mega Knight. If necessary, you can even drop that on the Skelly Barrel, and there goes the E-Wiz.
Yeah, very, very interesting. This might end up being a kind of a challenging matchup here for Fnatic as we get deeper into this first game.
And I've seen this many, many times before, more often in 1v1 than 2v2, but when you are using your Miner on defense, if you offset it just a few tiles to the right, whether it's a Lumberjack, a Dark Prince, what have you, not a Prince itself, but a Dark Prince, you can pull him to the side, distract him for a minute, your tower will take it down long enough, and then the travel distance between where you played the Miner to the tower will kill it before it gets a hit in. A very, very pro play.
So Mega Knight in the back to open this push, hoping to get a lot of that aggro, make room for the Ram Rider. Doesn't work out precisely, but still Cream in a pretty commanding lead here as we go into the final 25 seconds of regulation.
Great snowball there, hitting everything on the opponent's side of the map from Cream.
Woo! And that was a Ram Rider connection down to 690. Cream looking so good right now.
Cream is playing very, very well. Very little damage on their towers. The poison comes down from Fnatic, but that is not going to be enough to take this tower even anywhere near where they want it. Ram Rider in again, tanked for by the Mega Knight. The freeze comes in defensively, but that is a huge lightning.
Lightning Log, so now just need to get back to another lightning. That's going to be GG's here. Might not even need it. Nice pickup, barely stopping the Baby Dragon, but with the Miner, the Poison, the Giant Snowball, Cream Esports takes game number 1.
Such great play from Cream in that first game, Rich. Completely in the driver's seat for the entirety of that first game. Let's see if Fnatic can bounce back.
Flash and Diego looked so comfortable out there in this 2v2 set, and then it also brings up a really interesting question. If you lose 2v2 with Javi and Faye, now you run the risk, not only do you have to win King of the Hill, but now you go to 1v1 with neither of your two best players ready to go in that set.
And don't get me wrong, you know, Mikhail04 has gotten to #1 on ladder. Asuchini is a legend. He's been around for a very, very long time. But Javi and Faye are just better in 1v1.
It's just, there's a certain level, and again, we've seen all different sorts of things here. Mikhail and Asuchini might both be able to nail it. We also might not even get there. We still have at least one, if not two more games to play, but again, a nice start here from Cream Esports.
A devastating lightning, so much value. That is exactly how you want your spells to fall in any game, but especially in 2v2.
First minute down, and so far, Fnatic has not touched a tower.
I love the idea of replacing any building in 2v2 with a Ram Rider, Rich. I think it is just so powerful. The snare, the stun, whatever you want to call it, and then you create a counter push with it. It can stop a balloon, it can stop a Hog Rider, it can stop a battle ram. It's so effective.
and the double Ram Rider can be even more frustrating. So we'll see. Look, you see one coming down here in counter. Now the freeze, very well played, but second Ram Rider. That's what we're talking about, the double Ram Rider, but that balloon's gonna get on tower though.
That freeze was perfectly timed. You know Fnatic knew those Ram Riders were coming down. They could tell exactly what the deck was by seeing the first Ram Rider go down, and that is a brutal balloon.
Woo! Yeah, that's a bye-bye tower. 32 HP is just, it's just elementary at this point. It's academic. That thing is going down. So now you have Fnatic in a pretty good spot here going into the final minute of regulation. They feel like they might have a handle on the defense, and of course, you overcommit trying to push. Well, guess what? There's more Lumberjack balloon freeze coming your way.
And you know that Cream now it's very apparent to them that Fnatic is only going to go in the left-hand lane with a zap, a snowball, anything, even the Ice Spear can take out that right-hand tower. They've got to double down on the left and figure out a way to break through.
Defensive freeze, Ram Rider trying to sneak its way through, but held up very, very nicely. Ewiz does its job. Miner to the back of the tower, but yeah, with this Inferno Tower down, I don't know if this is going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean, that Mega Minion, okay, Bats come down, Ram Rider's down. You've got 16 cards and 20 Elixir playing defense right now, Rich. You got to split it up somehow.
Final 15 seconds. You know that Fnatic has that right tower sewn up. Lightning comes in.
Yeah.
Can Cream get there? I don't think so. This is going to be game number 2 for Fnatic. We are going to go to a third game here in 2v2.
Javi and Faye now trying to stay alive, taking game number 2. Cream looking to put this away. It's a huge advantage if Cream takes the 2v2 set, Rich.
Yeah, and both of these squads have so much firepower for King of the Hill, you really can't bank on winning that set.
Right.
You know, on one side, you gotta run through Javi and Faye and either Asuchini or Mikel. On the other side, Flash, Diego, Jose Brayan. I mean, already there. Lindsay, the way he played the other day, it's absolutely insane.
Oh, and you know Lindsay is going to show up in King of the Hill. He might even kick off King of the Hill because of the confidence he has for his last match. Pekka comes down. We got miners on both sides of the field, and you know I love the miner. It's my favorite card in the game.
You know, the miner got a lot of heat when it first debuted. People really, yeah, when it first, like, people really were kind of uncomfortable with it. But it adds so much. It's one of those things where it adds a lot of weird, different. It's a different mechanic.
Yeah.
There's no other card that has a mechanic like it.
Yeah.
Anything close to it.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's why I'm a huge fan of the Ram Rider as well, and I actually am a fan of the Goblin Cage, which we might be finally seeing next week in CRL West. I believe that is when it's going to be unlocked to be used in competitive play.
So here we go. First minute down, and things still close to all square. Fnatic just slightly behind, but again, a lot of game left to be played.
No, and that's not where you want your miner to go ever. Right into a true.
Yeah, it's almost like, I mean, maybe that's what he did, but maybe he was trying to go and get rid of the Ewiz, but it worked out. Got a couple of swings here with that late placement.
Yeah, it looked like it was just a double drop, if you will.
This time, Miner to the back. The Dark Prince not quite going to get there. And beautiful Ram Rider there just to turn the Dark Prince around and also save that Ewiz from potentially getting hit.
Yeah, and I don't know if that Ewiz, I mean, I'm assuming those mechanics were purposeful, but you saw it stopped the Dark Prince's charge and hit the Miner. Excellent, excellent placement from Cream.
Double Elixir time, and both teams playing fairly similar decks. Who's going to find that slight opening?
Now, yeah, both have the Mega Knight, both have the Ram Rider. However, Cream does have the Pekka, and the Pekka does counter the Mega Knight.
You know, counters one Mega Knight, and turns out also counters 2. Lightning, though, a big lightning. And that's a very important connection. And it's, you know, some really low health tricks from the opposite direction. The log, though, not quite enough.
Yeah, I was going to say, Miner is going to go to the back, try to pull that Dark Prince around. You see the Baby Dragon does get on the tower. Another Lightning comes in, and now Cream looking to take this first set away from Fnatic.
Final 15 seconds, Fnatic also behind on Elixir right now as well, so in a bit of a hot spot at the moment.
Yep, we're a spell cycle away, so they're going to get another Lightning down as soon as possible, and that poison, and that should be all she wrote for Fnatic in this 2v2 set, which means they got to win the King of the Hill. They got to win the King of the Hill.
Not going to pick up the miners. A couple shots in. Ewiz goes to the wrong spot. That's going to be it. Cream Esports takes our first set of the day, and really, once you got to the point where they were in that spell cycle range, it was pretty much all over.
Yeah, and you know what? They didn't even need to get around to both spells, those miners. The shovel's only 64 damage a hit, but it adds up. And they keep doing a great job. They switched up their placement. The spell's coming in. Just really, really well played by Cream. Very patient, very efficient.
And you like that minor placement there at the end, going to the inside corner rather than to the back, and you saw that E was trying to predict on the back. And it's interesting because people tend to go to the safe spot or back most often.
Yes.
That inside corner, it's one of the 3 most common spots, but one of the most rarely blocked spots.
Yeah, it's my favorite spot. It always catches your opponent off guard, and it does leave you open for a nado, but that's neither here nor there. King of the Hill coming up next. Fnatic up against the ropes.
$2v2 down, King of the Hill up next. Each team puts forward 3 players. Each player gets just 1 chance to try to wipe out the other squad. And this is so much fun having it at this point in the match as opposed to at the end, because we really see the whole team format, 2v2, and then send out your full 3-part squad. So very exciting. And opening up right now, it's Diego E against Mikel.
Yeah, Diego E going up against Mikel, hopping into the game right now, and it makes sense to have Mikel go out before. I believe you're probably going to have Faye and Javi Gatorce afterwards. You want your least seasoned, your greenest player to go out first. It's the least amount of pressure, and it gives them the highest capabilities to have the most effective King of the Hill.
Miner to the safe spot, easily picked up there by the guards. Have yet to see Asuchini yet for Fnatic, although it is still very early in the season.
Yes, the Sparky Master himself has not made an appearance. And I really want to watch him play the Goblin Giant Sparky deck.
I think Mikel's going to be playing Goblin Giant Sparky here. We see the guards, and there you go, Sparky down. We saw the Musketeer, so looks like you're getting your wish, just not from the guy you wanted to see play it.
But I'm sure he's been helping coach him play it, and I'm very excited to see what that coaching has done.
Sure, so here we go. We're going to get a Goblin Giant in front of the Sparky. Yes, we do, and it'll pick up a lot of that nicely, and a good play here with the minions to help with that Mega.
Ooh, that Snowball doing a good enough job to knock the minions back, but keeping a couple alive, and wow, that was masterful defense.
Sparky just doesn't quite stay alive long enough to get a shot on the tower. So both guys playing pretty clean so far, but as you said, great defense there from Diego. Slowing down here a moment and goes ahead and drops the barbs, a full 5 elixir to counter, and there you go. Fireball comes out for the barbs, but the miner does get on tower guards a little bit too late.
And Diego E falling to Carnage in his previous match, looking to redeem himself and take out Mikel, moving them forward.
Heading into double elixir time, expect to see the pace pick up here just a little bit, especially on Mikel's side. Now that he'll have more elixir and less concern about making sure he's always ready to catch those miners.
Yep, another Sparky in the back, getting our way into double elixir time, assuming to see another Goblin Giant up front. Let's see if he can play some better defense, or excuse me, have a better offense this time against Diego's incredible defense.
And there we go, the Lumberjack does finally come out, so we'll see if that picks up, does not turn back to the Barb Barrel, and we did see Barbarians as well come out there, just immediately wiped off by the Sparky. But again, pretty solid defense here, but another Sparky down.
Yeah, which means Mikel is up quite a bit of elixir at the moment. That miner going down. He's got 6 healthy elixir on the field. Goblin Giant, Sparky getting pushed right into this Inferno Tower once again. How is he going to adjust?
Very early Inferno Tower here, though, from Diego. So we'll see if playing it that early on comes back to hurt him a little bit.
And look at that predictive poison from Diego, catching all of the troops. Sparky shot in.
Boom.
That rage increase is brutal.
Miner will get a few shots, but Sparky takes it out. And are we going to just go ahead and take those shots? No, Goblin Giant down. And so you see a lot of great Goblin Giant Sparky players vary the way they do this push, whether it's they open up Sparky in the back or on the outside. When they drop the Goblin Giant, you saw that there. One more variation. Very nice play here from Mikel.
Oh, this is going to be a bad time for those Barbarians. The Fireball comes in on top, 175 HP. We are within spell cycle range, and boom goes the Sparky. The trash can is upset.
So nice work here for Mikel to get in the winners column, but across from him is one of the biggest young stars of the entire LATAM region. We talked about this last time, how Koji and Manu have been so hyped up about us getting a chance to see him play live.
Yeah.
Jose Brian out for Cream.
Yeah, and Jose had a great showing against Surge TS. He did end up falling to Carnage, but taking out Surge is a big move. So let's see how he shows in his second King of the Hill appearance. I guess third.
Third King of the Hill appearance, but who's counting, right?
We're supposed to be. Ooh.
Everyone's slowing down here for a moment. No one getting too aggressive early on. You have two young players who haven't played on the big stage before, not wanting to make any early mistakes. Looking like traditional bridge spam over there for Mikel.
Wow, I was going to say that flying machine is going to demand a response, but apparently not to Mikel. He does not care about those shots. He's going to build up a big push behind this P.E.K.K.A.
And look at that, though. A couple big swings there from the Royal Ghost. So both players choosing to eat some damage, and we know that that's a tendency of Jose Brian. He's willing to eat damage early on.
And I was just going to say, they're both going to drop the E-Wiz. I mean, when you got P.E.K.K.A. on P.E.K.K.A., you want to drop an E-Wiz behind to stun the opposing one so that yours comes out on top. Wow, I don't know if those Royal Hogs were a good decision. You're going to need a lot on defense here.
Just sends them right in and does get a little bit of a connection here. Pretty even at the moment as we go to 90 seconds in to the second game of King of the Hill.
There you go. Okay. Cleaned up very well. Rascals on the counter push.
So you have a little bit of fireball bait here. You have the Royal Hogs. You have the flying machine. Of course, you're not against fireball, but it still works as big spell bait to a certain degree.
Yeah. I mean, whether it could be poison. All those units are very poisonable. I mean, obviously the Royal Hogs, the poison is going to be as effective as a fireball, but it does hurt against the Rascals, the E-Wiz, and the flying machine, as you said.
And again, Jose Brian not panicking there. Knew he was going to take a Royal Ghost hit, use the snowball, use the flying machine. Took the shot, but backed it up.
So now we have the E-Wiz out of cycle. So you got to imagine Jose is going to back his P.E.K.K.A. up with an E-Wiz, hoping to take control of the battle of the P.E.K.K.A.s.
There you go. You called it perfect there, Andrew. So the question now is with this Royal Hog deck, I mean, both these are dual lane pressure decks, right? You have the Royal Hog and the Rascals combination. You have, of course, P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam, notorious for going both lanes, as you see right now. The question was going to be who takes advantage of it first, and it's Mikel going for it, but not paying off. Yeah,
and this was a very well-played defense by Jose Brian. He's got a very healthy push in the right, which means he can go hard in the left. And Mikel has got his elixir spread very thin.
Yeah, Jose Brian has a lot on the board and still a lot in his elixir collector. So we'll see how he deals with this defense. A very nice giant snowball to slow things down. Flying machine still staying healthy even though it's in the poison. Although Royal Ghost is going to get at least one swing, maybe two here on the tower.
Two swings in. Woo! Very well played. I understand wanting to conserve your E-Wiz, and taking those two hits just hurts. Royal Hogs on the tower.
That's quite a lot of damage from the Royal Hogs there, and the giant snowball gets a little reset, opens up for just a couple more 100 hit points of damage, and now we are in sudden death overtime. Things starting to get very tight.
And that poison every single time has to be so frustrating for Jose Brian. Look at this. That is going to be tower down, most likely, Rich. Look at that. Game over.
Wow.
Mikel takes out two. Jose Brian goes down. Lindsay it's all on his back.
And this is a great second match here for Mikel after stumbling in King of the Hill last time against Queso. Coming out now, one game away from a sweep. Of course, Lindsay clutched up for his squad last time out, but he didn't have to go 3-0 in King of the Hill. No. Only had to get 2 wins.
Yeah, but then he went into the 1v1 set and took out Wen again. So Lindsay definitely feeling great about his first showing, trying to repeat here today.
So are we possibly seeing P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam again from Mikel? He played it very clean last time out.
I mean, that's where you see E-Wiz most these days.
Another alternative also is a big part of a Royal Giant Furnace, which, you know, of course, there's only 2 cards so far, but Lindsay could be playing that.
Yeah, looks like Mikel might be doing that.
Are you doing what I'm doing?
I think so.
Skeletons, though, not part of that deck. All right, so now looking more like Ram Rider.
Nice bar barrel to kite that baby dragon away.
2 swings from the bar barrel on that tower, so pretty unfortunate to eat those shots. Mikel looking, again, like now like it's going to be RG Furnace for him.
Yep.
Going with the Lumberjack version.
Lightning coming in. Great lightning value from Lindsay. And
Beautiful
the charge.
lightning, and wow. Wow, Lindsay just plays so darn clean. He stands in the pocket, doesn't get nervous, does what he needs to do, and takes care of business.
And that's exactly what we talked about before, Rich. I believe it was the other day we were saying that lightning can be so effective. It catches you off guard when playing defense, and all of a sudden, a Prince charges to your tower.
So 1 minute down, pretty even at the moment. Despite the early deficits for Lindsay, back in the mix.
An aggressive Lumberjack at the river. I was going to say, there's the lightning value once again. Mikel's just giving it to Lindsay.
Yeah, has not broken through yet, playing very conservative. You saw that, I mean, he'd cycled back to his E-Wiz very early in this match, just trying to play defense, not get caught out against this RG deck.
And this is going to be a big moment right here. Great defense. RG does not one-shot it.
One shot, and that's really all it's going to take with these RGs is to do that a few more times. You're not worried. Look, it's nice if you get 2, 3 out of it, but if you get 1, that's a victory.
It totally is, and we're 13 HP separating these 2 players right now. Lindsay at a very slight disadvantage.
So Lindsay right now just cycling, playing defense. RG in the back, and there you go, Golem at the bridge.
Comes down. That's gonna pop that bar barrel. Not a good use of your elixir.
Oh, look at that Furnace after the lightning.
Love it.
Brilliant play by Mikel, and he's not gonna get a shot on the tower, but played very nice defense in a very tough spot.
And this is the moment where Lindsay actually needs to pump the brakes. A lesser player would have kept spamming the bridge right there, but he recognized his push was over. He needs to regroup and probably play some defense before he tries to continue to break through that tower.
Remember, we are in lowest single tower for all of King of the Hill, meaning if we do go the full 6 minutes, whichever one of the 4 towers is at the lowest HP, that player takes the L.
And once again, only 40 HP separating these 2.
Second golem here from Lindsay.
Skeletons to soak up that damage to preserve the health of the Mega Minion. Going to support the Mega Minion right now. Those Fire Spirits actually distracting it, however.
Lumberjack Furnace doing a good job of just taking care of this golem, although we might get some Golemite action on the tower, and here we go, second golem at the bridge. Now Lindsay is turning up the heat.
And now we need to see another lightning come in as soon as possible. That is exactly why Mikel plays that Furnace so high.
Lightning clears a lot out. We're gonna get some death damage on the tower, though. This was a very nice golem sequence for Lindsay, and he might be about to get his squad right back in this thing.
So very close to spell cycle range. It won't do it with a lightning and a snowball, but he is very close.
That was a brilliant lightning. You get some good Prince damage, you get some damage on the tower, you prevent him from single popping into your troops. Very nice work. Both these guys playing at an extremely high level right now.
The Prince connecting on that Furnace is gonna do it, Rich. There's just no way to stop that golem from getting to the tower now. This is gonna be game 3 to Lindsay.
Yeah, maybe I spoke too soon with that lightning, but again, you can always speak too soon. If you call Lindsay out, he'll tell you you're wrong.
Faye coming out, meeting Lindsay. Honestly, the 2 1v1 stars of the team so far this season. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, so Lindsay, I mean, look, he came back clutch last time around, took the last 2 games at King of the Hill, took 1v1 against when they played off against Pain, but this is a totally different situation. You gotta get through Faye, and if you get through Faye, Javi14.
And a golem in the back to start off. Not something we see a lot in competitive play because of this exact reason. You will get punished in the opposite lane. But great placement by that Mega Minion from Lindsay to stop that aggressive push. And now, there we go.
Not how you wanted that to go. Look, you'll still stop the majority of this push, but definitely not what you're hoping for.
Yeah, and a half second late on that E-Wiz, or even maybe just a couple tiles to the left instead of the right would have killed those bats.
Guys, even a pro misclicks. Totally happens. You do it, I do it. Faye just did it.
And it looks like Lindsay's just running the same deck back.
Hey, if it works, it works. So very interesting, and now Lindsay's slowing way down here. Just choosing to play defense, not worried about trying to get an Elixir lead right now in single Elixir. He made his big move to open up, wondering maybe I might catch you out of cycle, and I have enough defensive utility cards so you can't completely punish me, as we saw. Not going to get that aggressive again.
And a second, just a half second even late on that miner, which opened up the Prince charge in the right-hand lane. Now, you know what Faye was going for. He wanted the miner to tank for that one Rascal girl, which would have been devastating. However, now he took a lot of damage in the top right side of the screen.
Yeah, and Minor Rascal's Loon is a really interesting matchup here for this Golem deck, because typically this Minor Rascal's Loon deck can out-cycle you and just get that balloon back down. But notice that this is a slightly fast Golem deck with the skeletons, with the giant snowball, with the barb barrel, and with the Mega Minion. I have a feeling that Lindsay will not have too much trouble getting back to this defense over and over again.
And you saw Lindsay playing very, very conservatively, leaking 8 elixirs so that he just had to wait to see what his opponent was going to do, because if he committed too hard in either lane, then you're kind of left open for that balloon.
And Lindsay's going to hope he can find a spot where he has an Elixir lead and has his Golem and has the balloon out of cycle for his opponent.
And so far in this season of CRL West, Rich, Lindsay is 5 of 6 in games played.
Ooh, boy. Well, he's looking like he's close to 6 of 6 right here if he can just keep this type of gameplay up.
Prince in the back to meet the Rascals. You imagine a balloon's going to come down in the right-hand lane. There it is. Going to be a Mega Minion, a Snowball, and an E-Wiz probably to respond.
The miner to the back and nothing for the miner. Giant snowball.
Balloon is going to come in.
Oh my word. Faye might be he's about to do it. There you go. Faye does it for Fnatic. Closes out King of the Hill. What fantastic gameplay by Faye in this situation. Well, Drew, you got it right. It's going to be Lindsay and Mikkel. You can see them behind me somewhere over there. Lindsay and Mikkel, you know, when the hand is hot, you got to keep going with it. Mikkel played great in King of the Hill. Lindsay, of course, has been playing great the last couple of matches. So here we go, 1v1. We're about to get into this thing.
Yeah, Lindsay had a really, really great showing in his first set. He's now 3-1 in King of the Hill, and he's 1-0 in the 1v1 set. Mikkel making his very first appearance in the 1v1 set, now 2-2 in King of the Hill.
This is going to be a really interesting moment here to see how Mikkel reacts to having it all on his shoulders.
Yeah.
He led off for King of the Hill, much less pressure. Now it's all about him. No one can save you here.
And once again, both of these players have very little live competitive play experience, and this is the biggest stage in the world. Looking already like bridge spam out of Lindsay.
And Mikkel, a lumberjack and a barb barrel, which is 75% of the deck.
I was just gonna say anything.
So just a little light cycle in here. Giant snowball does some damage on Mikkel's top right tower.
Oh, you know what? No, it's not. It isn't bridge spam.
Ice Golem.
Yeah.
So here we are, first minute down. Both players taking it fairly slow early on. And looking like Mikkel maybe playing balloon.
Yep, I think it might be both here.
Prince gonna meet the Muskie.
Just give her a quick pop.
Bye-bye, Muskie, it was fun. And gonna get the Lumberjack as well. Oh no, nice Ice Golem to protect the Lumberjack there. Very, very well played by Mikkel.
Very, very necessary. Ram Rider coming down.
And that's gonna be a connection here. That Lumberjack is doing a ton of duty. Got out in front, helped pave the way for that connection, and a nice early hit here for Mikkel.
Bandit gonna be turned around by the Bar Barrel. Very, very well played. And the Ice Golem doesn't get in front. Lindsay is at a 71% win rate so far. Mikkel, 50% here at CRL West.
Well, either way, both off to fairly good starts, and it is bridge spam for Lindsay.
Should have just went with my original gut instinct. Put my foot in my mouth.
Oh, the Prince makes you kind of feel a little bit awkward saying that.
Yeah.
And this Ram Rider gets a connection as well.
Dual lane pressure here, a lot coming down both sides.
So here we are, final 30 seconds approaching, and Bandit, nice pickup there by the dash from Mikkel, and it looks like he's in a slight lead at the moment, and that Ram Rider just continues to be tough to deal with, although now we're going big right at the bridge, stopped here by the Lumberjack, and in support with the Musketeer. A good sequence here for Mikkel.
That Lumberjack just did so much work, and now the Ram Rider behind. The Lumberjack will go down, raging it all up. Definitely going to get another connection unless, wow, a fireball coming in.
A lot spent to deal with that, though, and that raged up Muskie really hurts that Prince as well. Bar Barrel out in front and stops the Bandit from dashing to the Prince or dashing at all. Not long, though. Here we go. Lumberjack across, gonna rage up, and great pull with the Ice Golem to get that away from the Ram Rider.
Yeah, one of the best kites we've seen so far this season. Now look at this huge push Lindsay has in the right-hand lane. Again, dual lane pressure. Bringing it all, nope, does not bring it to the left. That Ice Golem goes down too quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw Lindsay pull off a perfect kite, and then you try to go for it yourself. Doesn't work. Bandit dash. Oh, wow. My word. That's a ton of damage down to 389, and with Fireball and Giant Snowball, Lindsay's getting close here to being able to play some defense and spell cycle.
Yeah, I mean, that's what will happen with these incredibly aggressive, you know, bridge spam type decks, is you just keep putting these pushes together, and eventually your opponent will probably mess up their defense. As you saw right there, Mikkel spread himself too thin, and he's in a horrible position. Oh, wow, you see that? The Bandit dash stopped because of the snowball. Very interesting interaction there.
That was super strange, although now we're just one fireball away, so Lindsay just doesn't want to make any mistakes, play some clean defense, get back to a fireball. And the other thing is, don't just try to get spammy on the fireball and hope you beat it there. Like, make sure you have the right moment. He's doing that great. Prince in defense. And there you have it. Lindsay continues his reign of terror here in CRL West.
Lindsay taking down Wen and now Mikkel with the same deck.
One down, Lindsay in a great spot here. Can send Cream to 2-0. So what we're gonna see now is what Mikkel does when the pressure is truly on.
Yeah, I mean, this is as much pressure as it gets, and it's the most pressure he's ever had in his professional career. Let's see how he does. You know, Lindsay has been on fire.
Bar Barrel met by Royal Ghost. I mean, how many decks is Royal Ghost in right now that aren't P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam?
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe it. We've seen it in anything other than that, Rich. And there's a P.E.K.K.A. on the top, just as you called it. And an Inferno Tower comes down.
So P.E.K.K.A. in the back to open. We've seen that to mixed results here so far in CRL West.
And look at those minions. I love the minion play right there, distracting the Inferno Tower for just long enough. Now the P.E.K.K.A. is going to come in and get a big swing in before it goes down. Half health. Bar Barrel comes in, going to go down. Got to get one more unit on that P.E.K.K.A. or she's going to hit the tower. Wow.
And there you go. I was wondering when that miner was going to come out, and it has to use it defensively. And you saw it was tempting to put that miner onto the left-hand tower to help with that Prince push, but you just can't eat that P.E.K.K.A. shot.
No, you cannot. And we've seen this deck before. It's a very, very good control deck. But here's the thing about control decks in the pros, Rich. It's hard to control another pro player.
Yeah, it definitely can be, and not controlling those Royal Ghost shots down to 17-26 on the left-hand side. Mikkel getting back in this one.
and a lot of leaked Elixir at the top of the screen. You understand why you don't want to play anything out of cycle. Pekka's going to meet the Prince, but 5 leak Elixir from a bridge spam deck is kind of surprising.
Yeah, you know, you forgive it in a big beatdown deck, and he was making a call there, didn't want to get caught out with a Prince in the wrong moment, but you gotta wonder if as we go further, if that 5, if that giving away that advantage is gonna hurt him.
Yeah, and you see there the snowball coming in, trying to push the battle ram towards the Inferno Tower to aggro it. That Pekka will get a swing in on that tower. Miner comes in late, and that is a wasted 3 Elixir.
Wow, wow, Lindsay kind of on the ropes right now here. Mikel with 40 seconds remaining, really in control, playing against the control deck, but it's Mikel in control.
Yeah, absolutely, and now the Pekka coming down the lane, still a big Elixir advantage. That is gonna stop the charge from the Prince. This is gonna be a very, very frustrating and difficult push to defend for Lindsay.
And he's so far behind with a minor control deck, you really find it's going to be hard to imagine to see him getting back in this one.
Wow, Rich, that was a beautiful snowball coming in, hitting all the units, the battle ram, the minions, and the bandit, I believe, stopping everything in its tracks.
Pekka goes to the safe spot, but knowing you're not against Tornado, Lindsay decides to go around the back instead.
Now we're going to see how he's going to defend against this Prince push.
Does fine, and with the Inferno Tower distracted opposite lane, hoping to get this battle ram on tower, but he was down in time, and now the Inferno Tower in support against that defense. Suddenly, Lindsay looks like he's on steadier ground.
Yes, absolutely. He's definitely gained his footing, and now it's basically back to even, at least in the sense of control of the game. However, Lindsay clearly at a damage deficit.
And look at this now. That was a perfect Miner bats play on the right-hand side. Miner to the back, bats in front, and forcing the EWIZ to go in front so you don't eat a bunch of really frustrating bats.
Yeah, you can never leave bats alive if they're being tanked for even a second. Their DPS is so incredibly high, and you called it exactly right, Rich. He made him pick and choose.
Bar Barrel Giant Snowball. So the, is Bar Barrel a spell? Is it not a spell? Let's call it a spell. Triple spell working out well for Lindsay here now that we're in overtime.
Miner up front trying to get everything all together. Snowball comes in, that bottom left-hand tower though, really hurting for Lindsay.
But he's been doing a good job of keeping it from really getting into the danger zone. So let's see how he handles this moment and handles it beautifully.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so far the defense from Lindsay has been incredible.
And look at this EWIZing way in the back is Mikel just trying to get ahead of any minor pushes that might be happening and throwing the battle ram opposite lane. Good giant snowball. This bandit might be the difference maker though.
Wow, the miner comes in very well played by Lindsay. That was the perfect defense. He eat the minions on the right. The bar barrel comes in, predictive bar barrel, knowing the bandit's gonna come down. Miner also predictive, knowing that bandit's gonna get through. And you know what, Rich? This is the 8th deck that Lindsay has played this season so far.
Wow, this is match 2.
I know.
Match 2 is again. He's played
8 games.
He's played 8 games, 8 different decks. Sure. Wow, he is playing at an insane level right now.
Yeah, and the mechanics all the way across the board are just perfect right here. Now, clearly, we've said it time and time again this game that he is behind in damage, but he is really controlling the pace of the game right now. A great Pekka. Bats will take it out.
So this is actually working out pretty nice for Mikel, actually, because remember, we can have a draw in game number 2. So, I mean, look, you'd love to get the win here, but pulling out a draw and not going to L at this stage does give him a lot of flexibility in game number 3.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to go for the draw here. There's really no way to break through. This is the last-ditch effort for Lindsay. Not going to happen. We are going to go to game number 3 here in the 1v1, the final set of Fnatic versus Cream.
And a very important reminder, game 3, we are in tiebreaker rules, so we don't need a tower to fall to finish. If at the end of 6 minutes, someone has a lower HP tower than the other, that takes the L.
Yeah, and right now it is all on the shoulders of Mikel and Lindsay trying to bring this home for their team. Both of them wanting to go to 2-0.
was gonna wonder if one of them would play a more defensive deck, and so far, not sure about that. Mikel here in a situation where he could force a game 4 with a win here.
And that's why exactly what you said, Rich, that, you know, a loss and a draw are the exact same things for him in the prior game, which is why Lindsay really needed to go all out.
Well, on the flip side, though, is if Lindsay had lost that game, then a loss here would be end of the match.
For sure.
Whereas drawing that game does give him 2 chances to win.
Lumberjack being tanked for by that bar barrel. Pekka comes down.
So Lindsay playing RG Furnace, Lumberjack version. Or interesting, because you see Lumberjack and Guards, so that's kind of strange.
Yeah, it is interesting to see both of those in the deck. That is not, you know, a very common variant of this deck, but it will fare well against the deck he's playing against, which is very nice because it is basically all on the ground.
So I'm wondering some different possibilities here, if maybe we're not seeing RG, or if he just chose to put both of those in there, knowing that Mikel was not going to play an air-heavy deck.
Yeah.
So slowed way down here, looking for the Ram Rider, most likely coming from Mikel as we get into double elixir time.
Bar barrel coming in, just an easy cycle with the response bar barrel. Both these guys playing incredibly conservatively. You can tell they do not want to make a single mistake as everything rides on the line. A great Lumberjack coming in, stopping both those troops.
And a good job there from Lindsay to spread out his defensive troops so he couldn't snowball all of them at once.
And keeping the Furnace alive. The Furnace is so menacing. You see right there, Mikel going for the Furnace with the bar barrel. No one ever wants their opponent to have a healthy Furnace. A Lightning comes down, so we all know what the last card is. It's a Royal Giant. How is it going to fare against these Pekka pushes?
And I am just really stunned here by going with a version of this deck that takes out the Baby Dragon and puts in both the Lumberjack and the Guards. We'll see if this pays off for Lindsay. He's been really sharp so far, and maybe he was trying to put Mikel on a deck with this choice.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Mikel's favorite decks, and he did use that Balloon Lumberjack Musketeer deck in BGW to take out Carter. So he's not a guy that only plays ground and pound, if you will, but most of his decks do stay out of the skies.
Well, there's also a question with your research about what does a player play in certain situations, right? Like when Mikel is in trouble, when his back's to the wall, what does he go for?
Right.
So maybe part of your pre-game research, part of your analysis is figuring out, hey, in this situation, this is the kind of move we want to make.
And those Guards were so excellent, Rich, just distracting the Pekka enough to keep the Lumberjack alive, to take the Pekka down. And now we've got a Royal Giant in getting at least 2 hits, probably 3. There it is.
Wow, I'm really, really fascinated by sort of the bravery here of Lindsay with this decision, but again, it might just be really excellent analysis behind him. And look at that,
wow.
Pekka does a great job pushing the Ram Rider towards the tower.
Oh,
Lightning
and the
comes
Lightning.
in.
Huge plays. That was so beautifully executed, and you can only make plays like that if you play that interaction a million times, Rich.
Yeah, and it's just a slightly low Furnace allowed that interaction to work the way it did.
And you love Mikel seeing that opening and immediately taking advantage of it. Pekka definitely gonna come meet this RG, but it is raged up, so it will still get a shot in.
So here we go, getting deep into sudden death overtime. Reminder, we are in lowest single tower for game 3. So at what point does someone either A, start playing defense, and B, start spell cycling primarily for their damage?
Yeah, and they both have Lightning. And, you know, obviously Mikel has the other direct damage, which is the Snowball.
And Mikel choosing to Pekka up early here. Just wants to, make sure that you're not sneaking anything annoying through, and he has plenty of elixir now, can just get behind that Pekka and stop everything here. And he might believe that he has the advantage having both Snowball and Lightning when we get to a spell cycle situation.
Well, and that's the luxury of this lowest tower situation, Rich, is that he knows that he's not going to switch up lanes, that Lindsay is not going to switch lanes with the Royal Giant. You can't start splitting your damage, so he has the luxury and the comfort of playing the P.E.K.K.A. right there every single time. You're not going to Lightning the P.E.K.K.A. in the tower, and you're not going to send the RG the other way. So Mikhail kind of putting Lindsay in a corner.
So decides to Ram Rider up one more time. Very nice Lightning, and you see not getting the snowball damage on tower. We'll wonder if we get really tight here at the end, if that ends up coming back and hurting him. And now you see RG rage up, and one stun there from that Ram Rider.
Completely negated and mitigated the rage that was there that would have made this a way more devastating push, but that might not matter. One shot in, that is going to be Lightning rage. Lindsay taking it in game number 3.
Oh, wow. It really seemed like Mikhail had gotten control of the situation, had the ability to spell cycle potentially better. But Lindsay, dude, Lindsay, I'm saying this right now, he's showing up as a star here in these first 2 matches.
And I love the way that Cream celebrates with their team. Look at them, look at the excitement on the bench of Cream Esports, you know, giving all the love that they can to their star player right now. Lindsay is a breakout star in CRL West.
Just really, really unbelievable gameplay, top to bottom from this guy, and a guy on a team that is so stacked with bigger names, right? With Cody Go, Luke Dubs, Jose Brain, the people who everyone's focusing on.
Yes.
But we talk about the hot hand, and you know, just like last season when Razor came out firing to open up CRL North America, same thing here. You have Lindsay coming out just totally smoking the competition here in CRL West.
And Rich, that's one of my favorite things about CRL is you have these players that have something to prove. They're playing with the chip on their shoulder. Why aren't you talking about me? Well, you will be tomorrow. And Lindsay is just killing it here. 2 matches, and I have been nothing but impressed by that young man.
And what's really impressive about him is what he does when his back's against the wall defensively. He doesn't lose his cool. He stays focused. He makes the right plays, makes clean plays. And that's a guy where it's like, you know, if I had a sledgehammer and he was tied down to a chair, I think he might be able to break my knees.
Yes, and that's the thing. This guy is unflappable. You talked about all the other stars on Cream, but this is the one that we will be paying attention to moving forward. And Mikhail 04 did play so well today, but Lindsay played better.
Yeah, you got to feel gutted in that situation. He probably felt like he had it under control, but you just lose control for half a moment. And again, when the RG didn't rage up, you got to be feeling like, hey, pretty good moment here for Mikhail, but was able to sew this thing up, put a stamp on it, and now he might have the #1 win rate as far as number of, I think he has the most wins in all CRL West.
Most wins and the most games played in CRL West. And like you said, that Royal Giant looked like the snare was going to stop it in its tracks. The rage, initially you were like, oh, this is going to be the push. No, the snare came down, but it didn't matter. The RG still broke through, got those 3 shots in, putting it within lightning range, and Lindsay calm, cool, collected, and ruthless.
I want to hear more about that deck choice there. So let's go down to the floor with Rachel, who's standing by with Cream.
Thank you guys so much. I've got Lindsay down here, and you're talking about deck choice. We've got a lot of decks to choose from when it comes to this player. So how many different decks did you bring, and why such variety?
¿Cuántos mazos tienes tú y por qué tanta variedad?
Tengo alrededor de 13 mazos que domino al 100% y más que nada es para evitar snipes.
I use almost 13 decks, and that's for avoid snipes.
Excellent choice, avoiding snipes and giving you lots of options against Mikhail. You've won 4 or 5 games against him. Very nice job. What is he like as an opponent?
¿Cómo es Mikkel como oponente?
Es un jugador muy bueno y nada, fueron partidas muy reñidas que se decidieron al final.
He's a really good player, and the match was difficult, but he won at the final, at the end.
The last deck you used against him, we saw an interesting combination of cards. Can you tell me the thought that went into building that particular deck?
Can you repeat? Sorry.
His last deck, can you tell me how he put it together? It was a little different.
How did you, ¿cómo pusiste tu tu mazo, tu último mazo? ¿Cómo organizaste tu último mazo contra Mikel?
Bueno, yo había pedido el tiempo muerto para hablar con mi entrenador y ahí él me dio una recomendación que era poner guardia en vez de Baby Dragon y nada, al final salió muy bien.
He requested the time to talk with the coach, and the coach told him that changed Baby Dragon for wards, and with wards he can defend the P.E.K.K.A.
Well, that worked out very well for you, and it sounds like team communication is a big part of this victory. You guys have won 2 matches now. Tell me how your team contributes to these victories.
¿Cómo tu equipo contribuyó en estas 2 victorias?
Mi equipo me ayudó mucho en todo porque, claro, o sea, uno cuando gana, siempre gana en el equipo, así como cuando uno pierde. Y entrenamos mucho esta semana, que empezaban los partidos y nada.
The team did good, and we did trainings all the week and prepare for this match.
Excellent. It definitely paid off. It showed in those matches. So congratulations on another victory for you guys. We're going to go back to the casters and take a closer look at all those decks.
Well, Rich, you know, we asked it at the desk many, many times and talk about a usage of a timeout coming in the clutch, swapping out the Baby Dragon for the guards, giving Lindsay a severe advantage in that matchup.
Yeah, you're looking at that deck start to build and you go, okay, it's RG Furnace, pretty standard.
Right.
You see guards come out, you see Lumberjack too, and you go, wait, these are exchangeable cards.
You didn't do that right.
It's one or the other. But that's a great call by the coaching, and he said it right there. That was putting the guards into this version helps him handle the P.E.K.K.A. And look, that could have backfired, but great job of knowing what they were facing, and it worked out to his advantage. Lindsay taking the win, and let's of course take a look at our schedule for today and our results. And you get in there, take a look. Cream Esports walks away with the most important thing, and that's a W.
Yeah, Cream Esports 2-1 victory over Fnatic. After that, we have the season debut, the CRL West debut of Team Liquid going up against 1-0 Dignitas, the Cinderella story.
Amazing first match, and you gotta wonder how frightening this squad is in Cream Esports.
Yeah.
As good as they are right now, without Luke Dubs.
Without Cody Go.
Without Cody Go. Without arguably their 2 best players, they're like this. When those 2 arrive, how do you beat these guys?
I mean, I don't know if you do, honestly. I mean, they are playing out of their mind. Lindsay, as we've said before, is the breakout star so far here at CRL West.
And of course, we're not done. Up next, Dignitas coming off their big win up against the all-star squad. We're getting the debut of Team Liquid here in CRL West.
And you wonder how the nerves are for Team Liquid. They've been sitting back all week watching all the other teams here at CRL West have their ups, have their downs, but they're all-stars, Rich. These guys have so much competitive play experience. You got Eric up front there in the left, their coach, and on the other side, of course, Dignitas coming off a big, big win. They're young and leading the pack.
So taking a look at Liquid, they've made one change in the offseason, and it's a massive change. I mean, take a look, of course, Diego B, Surgical Goblin, and Buffmac all back, but adding in Canario to replace Azelius this time around, that is a heavy hitter to put into your lineup.
Yeah, and on the other side of it, again, I've said it before, and I'm gonna say it again, they are the Cinderella story. They are the team that somehow made it happen. You got Blaze, Oxlet coming off of a massive King of the Hill sweep, Tilted Eddie, and the man himself, Frost with the Fro. They are gonna do it. And now PT105 in the coaching position, Rich.
A really fun place to have them, and even more fun when we get into this 2v2 set. Kick it off, Liquid versus Dignitas. Here we go, game 1 of 2v2, and Dig running back the same pair, Frost and Oxlet. And look at this Team Liquid bringing out the pair that really figured out 2v2 for their team in the second half of the season, Diego B and Buffmac.
Yeah, Buffmac didn't really show up a lot in competitive play last season, except for in 2v2 and in King of the Hill. He was 5-2 in King of the Hill, Rich, so he has that 1v1 capability, and he's been working so hard in the offseason. 2v2, he struggled a little bit, ended up 5-4, but not bad.
Well, Buffmac was on the bench a lot early in that season. Look, you had Surge, you had Diego, you had Azealis.
Yep.
And he was on the bench for a long time, but then as it got later in the season, they need to make some changes. Oh, wait, we'll get back to that in a second. That's a ton of damage there on the right-hand tower with that RG.
Raged up Royal Giant just breaking through, and this Lava Hound is going to get stopped right in its tracks. A great nado by Team Liquid out to a commanding lead.
So Liquid probably going double RG, maybe Dig going double Lava, and back to what I was saying before, Buffmac kind of benefited in a way from the problems that Liquid was experiencing in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Because it opened up an opportunity for them to make some changes, and he was kind of a breakout year.
Yeah, it really kind of gave him a moment to shine. And again, he has worked harder. If you talk to anyone on any team, they all know how hard Buffmac has worked in the offseason and in last year's regular season while he was riding the bench. And that is a tower down. You know that, Dignitas has to just sacrifice that tower and commit the push to the left-hand lane, but this push is not going to be enough. The miner does come in to tank for a couple of those pups. Caught by the guard, decent amount of damage, nothing too substantial.
Yeah, the snowball did a great job of making room for troops to get in between those pups. Didn't kill him, but kept them off the tower enough to make that defensive play. So here we are, just a minute 15 left, and Team Liquid in a very, very good spot. And the combination of the Tornado and Inferno Tower gonna make things fairly challenging for these Lava Hounds.
And you wonder about the aggression on the King Tower. Oh wow, there you go. They're actually gonna go for it in the pocket. A very heads up, well-played nado met by the P.E.K.K.A as well. That RG is not gonna get a lot of ground done, but the King Tower is down to 2,600 HP.
And it did force a lot of Elixir. Had to spend 7 to stop that 6 Elixir Royal Giant. So even though it did work out in some ways, with just 38 seconds left, it also put Dignitas in kind of a tough position.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they were going for, Rich. You got to imagine they knew that the Elixir spent on the defense would mean that this push could not do what they wanted, and that's going to be a quick Game 1 victory to Liquid. I mean, there's obviously still 20 seconds left, but they would have to basically just drop the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things about Lava Hound, and especially like not Lava Clone, but Lava Hound, this Lava Miner deck, is it's really hard to come from behind in those last few seconds if it's not timed perfectly.
Yeah, and you look at the spells in the hand of Liquid, the Snowball, the Fireball. You have the Ice Wizard in there as well, making it very difficult, coupled with the Baby Dragon. Game 1, quick victory for Team Liquid. And this is a huge moment for Dignitas. They had a really rough time in their 2v2 set against Tribe, falling to B-Rad and J Monty, but then Oxlet really brought it home in King of the Hill, and they ended up walking away with that victory. Right now, Buffmac and Diego B looking to put an emphatic stamp on their very first set of CRL West.
And look, Oxlet obviously played fantastic in that first match in King of the Hill, and he's obviously put a lot of work in, but going through most likely Surgical Goblin, Canario, and either Buffmac or Diego B in King of the Hill, that is just simply a crazy thing to try to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, that is real brutal. And now, obviously, the people that he took out in his previous suite, Tommy, Nitram, and B-Rad, are some of the best players in the world as well. So he's definitely capable, but even just the names might intimidate you, Rich.
Yeah, it's just a lot to ask. And here we go. I want to say that's our first Magic Archer of the season.
I still love the Magic Archer. I love the mechanics of it, and I love how frustrating it can be when it's behind something and somehow still hitting your tower and you can't get through to it.
Magic Archer was massive in 2v2 in Season 1 because you could protect it for so long, and it would just sit there shooting for what seemed... There were a few times where I was put a timer on and just go, how long is this Magic Archer out there? Of course, there was a big nerf that made it almost unplayable for a while,
yeah, yep.
And now it feels like it's in a kind of a medium to medium-low space.
Yeah, it was very, very nice fix that they had there. And really, it's way better than the Princess in 2v2 competitive play because the amount of spells, it requires you to use a big spell to take it out. Not an arrows, not a bar barrel, not a log, things like that.
So there we have a big spell taking it out, the Lightning getting tower damage, but also the nado from Liquid getting the King Tower activation.
Yeah, very well played by both teams, and Team Liquid actually still at a damage lead and a King Tower activation.
So Liquid still playing in the same spot, maybe suspecting a tornado somewhere for Dignitas.
Wow, and they're just going to eat all those hits from the miner and the log. Look at that, 909 HP, committing their full elixir load to a double golem push in the left-hand lane.
Snowball does save that last bit, so now running into the P.E.K.K.A, the question is what they're gonna do to stop this P.E.K.K.A Inferno Tower combination.
Wow. Inferno Tower and P.E.K.K.A on top. Fireball coming down, Miner coming down, a very, very healthy Golem in the back, but a very healthy P.E.K.K.A on top.
And the Ice Wiz as well, so I don't know if we're gonna see any. We're gonna see nothing, zero, zip, zilch from a double Golem. That's 16 Elixir down the drain.
Yeah, and you know, Rich, I don't like the double Golem play anymore. I think it's kind of old news, honestly, and this is no slight on Dignitas. Maybe they thought they had it there, but the double Golem just doesn't seem to have an answer, especially with how much the Inferno Tower has shown up in competitive play in 2v2.
And they're just thirsting for Elixir right now, too. Look at both teams very, very low, but Dig is the one really in trouble with their tower so low right now, and you do have Fireball and Poison. You see the Poison gets down, Liquid knows, and it's a Rocket as well.
Rocket.
Bye-bye, Team Liquid taking 2v2.
2 up, 2 down. Very well played by Team Liquid, and you saw there they were completely in control throughout. That double Golem push, just way too much committed on the left-hand side. Didn't even pick up the Miner, and then the next Miner went in. You talked about that sweet spot, Rich. They dropped Ewiz in the back, Guards in the regular spot. Miner still got the tower.
Yeah, there was just no breaking through on the part of Dignitas, and the double Golem, I think, like we talked about before, you mentioned, it just doesn't seem like it fits anymore, especially putting all that right there to run right into P.E.K.K.A, Ice Wiz, Inferno Tower. You're going nowhere there, but we're going somewhere, and that is King of the Hill.
A dominant 2v2 set by Team Liquid. Now the big question is, can Oxlet repeat the magic of match number 1?
Well, he's got a lot in front of him. Gonna have to go through Surge, Diego, and Buffmac. So that's a pretty tall order. Of course, he does have his teammates Eddie and Frost in the mix as well. So anything can happen here in King of the Hill. It is just 1 life per player. So you could be out off of a very simple mistake, off of a bad matchup, off of getting outplayed. You don't get to run that back.
Yeah, and we're hopping into the game now. One thing I'm very surprised about, Rich, no Canario in the lineup yet.
Yeah, very interesting. We have not seen Canario. He could still, remember, they have 4 players. He still could play in 1v1, and maybe they, with the advantage here, they're saving him and whatever he's doing right now for that set.
Yeah, and early on, we already put Oxlet most likely on Graveyard. You see this new Splash Yard iteration, pretty popular, but it hasn't been super successful. 100% now with the Dark Prince and the Royal Hogs. And obviously, Surgical's playing Royal Hogs.
Yeah, a nice pickup there by Oxlet, getting the King Tower activation. And okay, so going with some Fireball bait here is Surge.
I like that surround. It was a very well-played surround. It only hit the 1 Barbarian up front, keeping all the others healthy. However, that Baby Dragon cleans it up very nicely.
Yeah, so I wonder how Fireball baity Surgical Goblin's actually going here. Is he throwing in a flying machine as his other aerial troop, as another aerial troop? That's a distinct possibility. Now we see the bats, probably not going to be minion hordes, so.
I don't really love that early aggressive Graveyard, Rich. It was very easy to defend, and you saw the Bandit still dash through on the right-hand side, and Surgical has a 1 Elixir lead. So usually that aggressive of a Graveyard is pretty ill-advised.
So both players slowing down here for a moment. Splitting barbs in the back. Look for some dual lane pressure here from Surge as they get closer to the river.
And I wonder if we're going to see the Royal Hogs dropped in the center behind them. Yeah, I was going to say that was going to be way too aggressive.
And so we do see the flying machine now, so he is going with 3 aspects of Fireball or Big Spell bait. Again, we're playing against Poison, so a little bit different here, but he is spreading Oxlet thin here with choices of where to put that spell.
And they're going to dash in and completely mitigate the damage from the Dark Prince and keeping the Baby Dragon in place while getting hit by the tower. Very, very well played. That surround should clean everything up very nicely.
Royal Hogs picked up by the Tombstone here in the final minute of regulation. Double Elixir time. Surgical Goblin out to somewhat of a lead, but not super significant as of yet.
Yeah, I do really enjoy this deck that he's running though, Rich.
Fireball bait is fun. You know, you have so many options. You can load up on a lane, you can split lane. It has a lot of things that it can do, and then it can frustrate an opponent trying to deal with so many things at once.
Yes, yes. And the real question, though, is what's going to be the best way to stop those graveyard pushes, because all of his troops are very, very poisonable.
Look at that poison from Oxlade, getting some pretty good value on that left-hand side, getting part of the Barbarian drop, getting the Flying Machine and tower damage.
Musketeer looking to meet this Baby Dragon. Royal Hog bats in the right-hand lane. Should get some damage in on the tower.
A little bit there, not a lot. And with all the splash damage here for Oxlade, he has some good elements here to deal with those hogs as they cross the bridge.
And there is some poison value and then some on top of the barbs, but he's going to opt to ignore it. Probably saving Elixir for this push on the right.
Playing some defense, high Tombstone, although not going to be available for Royal Hogs now. What's his plan here? We're going to get a maybe, yeah, there we go, the Dark Prince down, but that's going to be a little more damage than he probably would have liked in that situation.
An interesting snowball. You'd think he might have opted to go for the snowball on the tower and the Dark Prince, but still, Royal Hogs get a little bit of damage in, as he said.
And now we go for poison value on the left-hand lane, reaching the 2-minute remaining mark, and we start thinking about the fact that since we're in King of the Hill, it is lowest single tower.
Bandit getting stopped by that Dark Prince. Not going to get a dash in the Flying Machine, not across the river, so the tower has not targeted it.
That's frustrating. That's very, very frustrating. So here we go, Tombstone Ice Wiz picking up this Royal Hog push, Baby Dragon as well. Might we see him try to counter with Graveyard in the right-hand side now? It seems like you might want to support this Baby Dragon, but on the same lane, you want to go left-hand lane because that's where the damage is. Here we go.
Yep, and one thing, Rich, that you made very, very clear is this is lowest single tower, so you've got to make sure if you're Surgical Goblin, you have to have more than a 206, or 212, excuse me, damage lead. You really do. 216, I'm sorry.
Very, very tight there. So with just 1:15 left, now we're getting to a point where being so even starts to play into Oxlade's favor, because as you just mentioned, not only is there the poison, but also Surge only has the bar barrel, the giant snowball for direct damage.
Yes, exactly. 1 minute left. Lowest single tower takes it all. Hogs coming in, gonna get met by a tornado and an Ice Wizard. Very, very well played.
Solid bar barrel snowball there. That's a good spot, because now he is outside of poison range.
Yep.
So now Oxlade has to play poison just to get back in the mix.
And he's going to go very aggressive with the Baby Dragon at the river and the Musketeer. Nothing to stop the Baby Dragon from tanking for those Skellies, though. However, the RNG did not favor, did not favor Oxlade this time. No hits from the Skeletons.
And then you also had the bats come down, and with no poison and support because he wanted to save Elixir. So,
oh my gosh, Rich, this is huge!
Oh wow, that's it! That's it! Surgical Goblin just sewed this thing up. He knows he did it. Surgical Goblin taking game 1 of King of the Hill.
Look at him, a cool killer going into game number 2.
Let's head into game number 2. Surgical Goblin has at many times been #1 in the world. Last season was not where he wanted to be, but with what he's done in the offseason and also the rest of his squad, especially the performances in some of the community tournaments like BGW, where they have shown up time and time again, it seems like they are back in form. And we just saw some play like that from him a moment ago. Now, Tilted Eddie, who just swept Tommy in 1v1, stands across from him on the other tower.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most dangerous things about Surgical now is he's playing angry, Rich. You know, he was not very happy with the way his Season 1 went, so he went back and just practiced and practiced like crazy. He's refocused, he's recommitted, and that is a horrifying man to be doubling down on talent.
Yeah, you're sitting there going like, oh, Surgical Goblin is more committed to Clash Royale?
Right.
Oh my word.
Eddie opting to eat that Dark Prince charge to place a Lava Hound. So Surgical's gonna go opposite lane with a Sparky. Very, very interesting to see how this is gonna unfold.
Also interesting to see Surgical Goblin playing this and against Lava Hound. You know, you gotta think that Eddie is gonna go Lava Hound pretty consistently. It's his favorite deck.
Yeah.
Now, one hand of that, though, is he does probably know that it means that he doesn't have as many defensive options to respond, although here we go, Barbarians, but not as many defensive options to respond to that Goblin Giant Sparky deck, so it's kind of a 50-50 there.
And this is basically an even trade, Rich. That Goblin Giant actually edging out the damage that Eddie did with his Lava Hound and Miner combination, and Eddie just had to tip his hat to him. He knows that was very, very well played.
Yeah, very well played indeed. Again, as I was saying before, though, like, Eddie is a Lava Hound player. He plays Lava in a bunch of different ways, whether it's Lava Clone, Lava Miner, whatever other Lava combination he just cobbles together from whatever cards he finds lying around in his garage. That's what he does. So I'm really curious about this specific matchup, and I bet a lot of it for Surgical is that he believes he can punish harder. When you see this right there, Lava right-hand lane, fine. What do you have to deal with a Goblin Giant Sparky push in the left?
Yeah, and he's also got his Hunter back in cycle. Surgical Goblin does to deal with this Lava Hound push, to deal with the Miner coming in. That Snowball really going to slow down those minions. Spear Goblin's going to clean up the minions, and now a very, very, very dead tower in the top left-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, Surge is probably going to lose this tower here on the right at some point. Oh, I don't know now.
No, 23 seconds left. I don't actually think there's a way for Eddie to take this game, Rich. He needs to have a miracle happen, and there's just not enough time. You know Surge is not going to let it happen. That's going to be 2 up and 2 quick down for Surgical Goblin, unless he gets 2 hits in, and maybe a lightning, and whatever the spell is, poison coming in too late.
Not going to be enough. Giant Snowball, not going to get around in time. That is it. Surgical Goblin off to a fantastic start here in Season 2.
Look at the focus in his eyes, Rich. One more away from sweeping Dignitas. Opening on the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, one of the people that brought me into playing competitive Clash Royale, at least thinking I was playing competitive Clash Royale, is Surgical Goblin. He's refocused, and you see in his eyes, he's just out for blood. A lot of his followers, subscribers, fans were wondering if he still had it after Season 1 of CRL. I'm telling you right now, it sure looks like he's back.
Yeah, what hasn't he done? Winning CCGS EU, the King's Cup, Gamergy. I mean, then of course, we have this lull in last season, which, you know, there were a lot of moving parts happening for Team Liquid that time around. And then off season, you talked about it. He wanted it back. He wanted the fire. And let's go back to talk about that for a moment. What they did in those community-run tournaments and how important those are, whether you're a pro, a semi-pro, or an amateur. And for a lot of these big-time pros, Battleground Weekly, which was in the off-season, was a chance for them to tune up, get their team synergy. And you see that right now. Diego and Buff just firing. Surgical Goblin at his best. Yeah. They had an opportunity. So if you're at home, you want to run a tournament, get one going. Get it active. You can make it happen.
Yeah, I could not encourage that more. And now Frost for Dignitas is all that stands between a Team Liquid sweep over Dig, pushing them to 1-1. And honestly, that first win that they got shocked a lot of people, but they played very, very well.
You know, Andrew, I'm going to guess here from that first card that Frost is running some sort of bridge spam.
No.
I could be wrong. I don't know. So Ram, Dark Prince for Frost and P.E.K.K.A as well. So
we're going to see a balloon in the opposite lane. There it is.
There you go. P.E.K.K.A behind the tower. Does he have anything to deal with?
He might have just bats, Rich. I'm not sure. He seemed, or maybe he's just going to ignore it.
He had Ewiz.
Why?
I don't... I'm a little confused there by the exceptionally late Ewiz play. Maybe he just believes that he can get to the tower on the right-hand lane, although...
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that cleanup by Surge.
You can see Frost shaking his head there on the right-hand side. He knows he made a mistake.
Yeah, a huge mistake. And you see, you know, the minions being the 5th card in his cycle. He could have dropped him. He didn't need to go all in on the right-hand lane. But wow, Battle Ram connects. Nothing going on. Surge is just standing there stoically at the podium. There is no problem. There is no lag. There is no delay. He just wanted to lose that tower.
Look, I think in that moment there, Frost knew he'd oversold a little bit, but then he realized that Surgical was so low on Elixir, he threw the Battle Ram down. Not much there to answer for it. Snowball came down, tower down, and now what looked like was going to be a blowout by Surgical Goblin is a contest.
Oh, and look at that. Surge laughing because he baits out the minions. What a play. I love it. Frost thinking he was going to pull a quick one on Surge, dropping that behind the Ice Golem, and now the Lumberjack Loon comes in.
This is a nice play to try to play defense on this one. He's gonna get a shot on tower though. Giant snowball. Whoa, beautiful defense by Frost.
I love the swerve by Surgical Goblin. I love the defense by Frost. This is a barn burner.
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy. Frost playing at a very, very high and loose level right now.
And that's when he's the most dangerous. We've talked about it time and time again. Even when the pressure is up, that's when Frost plays at his best. Wow, I just can't get over that interaction, man. I loved every bit of it.
It was beautiful, and here you go. That Musketeer was being protected by the Ice Golem, but the Bandit gets behind. Musketeer able to survive, and there you go. That's a big balloon drop.
A half-second late on the E-Wiz. You wonder if maybe a snowball would have been a better option.
So here's the problem is that Surge is running a deck that can cycle fairly quickly and keep the pressure on.
Man.
Oh no. Oh no, the balloon retargets. Brilliant retarget by Frost.
What a snowball. The Lumberjack will get out on the tower, catches the Bandit actually. Bottom left-hand lane, we've got minions on the tower. Wow, I am so impressed by Frost right now. I mean, obviously Surge is playing very, very well, but you expect that out of Surge.
All right, here we go. Now some bats in support. Bar Barrel down as well. And that E-Wiz not going to get on the balloon. So just the giant snowball right now. Minions trying to stop it. The balloon's going to get a drop. No, it doesn't. Wow.
Bandit in the pocket. Going to get on top of the tower. Bandit's in there to mitigate the damage. Now Surge only has a 100 HP lead.
Does Frost have anything to stop this?
Man.
No, he doesn't. That's going to be it.
Cycle is brutal.
Wow. Wow, Frost played so well. Surgical Goblin throws out the crying skeleton. Frost did a great job for a long time, but in the end, like you said, the cycle just a little too fast for Frost to keep up with. Gets the balloon on tower, GG, and Team Liquid comes out with a beautiful 5-game sweep to open CRL West.
And we haven't even seen Canario yet.
That's the truth. We have not seen one of the best players in the entire world, one of the best players in EU from last season. They just did that without even getting into his deck pool.
And you look now, Surge finally cracking a bit of a smile, knowing he brought it home for his team. Diego B and Buffmat closing out that 2v2 set. Surge putting a huge stamp on CRL West with that dominant performance in King of the Hill. Tilted Eddie down, Frost down, and you know what? Throw in Oxlade in there as well. Good game, well played, my friend.
Yeah, tough loss here for Team Dignitas, although if you were a betting man at home, you probably were saying Team Liquid would win this one. It's just such a tough, I mean, look, there's so many different options, and the way that Buff and Diego play 2v2 now with the amount of hours they've put in together, they could really threaten to be one of the better 2v2 duos of the season.
Oh, 100%, and that also means that Surgical Goblin and Canario are always available for that 1v1 set, and you've got any of them available in the King of the Hill set. This is exactly what Liquid does, the Yankees of Clash Royale West, and this is exactly how they wanted to start their season.
Yeah, and that's great. Feeling good right out the gate. And of course, now another new thing in the mix here for them is adding Eric Benamou, the coach, to go help out with the squad. They were kind of working on their own last season, bringing in Eric, Cloud9's former coach. And I think from a chemistry standpoint, he really fits well with a big personality like Surgical Goblin.
I was just going to say, Eric is one of the biggest personalities here at CRL as a coach. You know, I love that about him. And he's one of the only people that could actually probably wrangle in these massive personalities that are Surgical Goblin and Diego B. That's not a slight on them. They're superstars. You got to have a superstar coach, and Eric is exactly that, Rich.
Yeah, this is a nice start to their season. What you at home probably were hoping for to see Liquid play at their best. To hear more about how that went down, let's go to Rachel on the floor.
Hey guys, thank you so much. I'm down here with Surgical Goblin himself. What an incredible match. It was, I want to say, expected, but that's a little unfair. You worked for that victory, so let's talk about how you pulled it off. And I want to know, tell me about the decks you brought here today. We saw a little variety from you.
Yeah, so first of all, we arrived here a little bit early, before the season, so we had some extra time to be able to prepare. And as you saw, it definitely paid off. 2-0 in the 2 vs 2, and me 3-0 in the King of the Hill. Variety of decks, just because I try to be not predictable, just so my opponent never can try to counter me and can expect what deck I use. And I also try to kind of pick a deck which is good against most of their decks.
Well, you talk about the preparation that went into choosing these decks. Can you give us a little more insight into how you determine which deck you want to bring for which situation?
It just depends on how we do in practice as well, because for example, if with one deck I end up doing really good in practice, I'm quite confident with this deck. And then of course, if I end up doing pretty bad in practice, I might not use it or probably not use it.
And I want to know how that last match against Frost was from your perspective. A little bit on the back foot there he had you, so were you expecting that tough of a match?
Yeah, to be honest, he went quite aggressive with a P.E.K.K.A in the back, so I decided to punish him other lane with the Ice Golem Balloon. But unfortunately, I ended up misclicking my Ice Golem in defense, which ended up allowing his P.E.K.K.A. Like, I didn't end up kiting his P.E.K.K.A, so we ended up trading towers, but it was still fine.
One last question for you. Team Liquid, a huge name in Clash Royale. Your own name, a massive title in all of Clash Royale. Do you feel extra pressure coming out here playing on this stage and feeling the need for your fans who want you so badly to win?
Yeah, of course. I'm trying to, like make my fans proud, like my family, of course, and everyone who supports me. But at the same time, like I'm still trying to just enjoy this moment, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, I hope you do enjoy this moment. You certainly earned it. Now we're going to give it back to the casters to break down our last match.
Thanks a lot, Rachel. You know, in the moment, we were so focused on that tower dropping early with the counter push by Surge. We both missed the Ice Golem and not picking up that P.E.K.K.A, but Surgical Goblin with a nice little insight for all of us who play Clash Royale.
Yeah, 3 years of being a pro player at the top of the charts, and he still misclicks. So don't kill yourself when you misclick. It's all right.
We all do it, and didn't work out poorly for him today. Team Liquid still taking the clean 5-game sweep, and of course, Cream Esports opening up with a beautiful 2-1 win over Fnatic.
Yeah, a very, very dominant performance from both of those teams today. And Liquid, again, moving to the very top because of the 5-game sweep and the 2-tower take. So looking at our standings, Rich, we've got Cream Esports up at the very, very top, playing 2 games and winning both games. Liquid now in second place, as I was saying, 5-game sweep with more towers taken than Immortals, also on a 5-game sweep. Fnatic in 4th place, 1-0. Tribe Gaming 1-1, falling today after their loss this week. Pain Gaming 6-1, Dignitas also, or excuse me, Pain Gaming in 6th place at 1-1, Dignitas right behind them at 1-1 in 7th, and now going to the bottom of the barrel, we've got a very surprising Queso, Misfits, and Complexity.
And we still haven't seen Energy,
I know.
and not to mention SK Gaming. So I cannot wait to see when that other super-powered squad comes out. Let's take a look at our broadcast schedule so you know what's coming up. Of course, Season 1 schedule every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tune in Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. on the left coast and 1 p.m. all the way over on the right. Andrew, this has been an amazing day. It's so fun playing Clash Royale with you, watching Clash Royale, casting Clash Royale with you. We'll be back again on Wednesday. Of course, make sure to hydrate because humans are over 80% water. I'm Rich Slayton. That's Andrew Guy. We'll see you next week.
Bye.